I am recording this introduction to the virtual weekend retreat because I want to do this again. And the title of this retreat is Be True, Be You. I found it such a profound little title, right? And so many ways we can ask ourselves, what else is there deep in us that is also this me, this I, this who I am, this who I want to be, this something that wants to express itself through me, because sometimes when we're creative, we don't even know whether that's coming from somewhere, whatever we call that universe, our higher self, etc., that wants to express itself when we're writing or singing or creating something or communicating with strangers. And suddenly there's this connection and we're like, wow, there's another part of me that connects deeply, that creates something extraordinary. And we never defined ourselves like that. Now, in the last century, even just 50 years ago, we were so much more on this one-track mind. I am a carpenter. I am an actor. I am a teacher. I am melancholy. I am a whatever happy-go-lucky personality. We define ourselves sort of with a singularity in definition. And I think what this 21st century is bringing us more and more, and we see it in the young people, and we experience it ourselves, is that we discover and allow ourselves to recognize that there's multiple talents and multiple spectra in our own personality and in our own talent palette. It's a whole range of things that we can be and want to be and would like to experience being. It's no longer we have to be this and that's the routine and that's the way we are. And while routines ground us, and while the definition like I am a carpenter or I am a landlord or I am a coach of this, that, and the other, help us feeling justified, claiming our place in society, if you will. We often, or we used to, and maybe now not so often anymore, therewith extinguish all these other colors that are in the palette of our talents, in the range of our possibilities. There are different definitions. I say what makes us humans is creativity. Sadhguru said, what makes us humans is that we have possibility. And it's kind of the same thing, right? It's beautiful. So what makes us humans is that we can decide, which again, in my definition, is a very new phenomenon in humanity, that we can actually make decisions for ourselves, where this path is going to go, where we want to explore something different. Many of my colleagues in the coaching world who went to the online business coaching of how to run a coaching business discovered over these last, it's now 9 years that I joined, and many of us are still friends, have suddenly explored another angle of themselves, because we've been allowed to explore being ourselves. And as a coach, we need to very much be ourselves. One of them decided she wants to be a painter. And so she's explored and she's painting and painting. Actually, two of them have done that, ironically, or maybe not so ironically, because painting is another way of course, self-expression. Another one has gone from coaching to mountain climbing and taking people on mountains. So there are these deep-rooted desires that sometimes we get to find when we allow ourselves to explore them. And that's what this weekend is about, to recognize that there's not a one-dimensionality to us being true. So be you, be true doesn't mean be you, really truly find what your mission is, and your mission is X, or your mission is be a mother, or be a landlord, or be a carpenter, or be a author. But the true you is that broad spectrum of possibilities. And there's another layer, there's a societal layer also to that being true to ourselves. Society, we talked about it in one of our last sessions, society often demands us to perform, to have a certain image, to dress a certain way. I mean, I remember only too clearly when I started working in the corporate world and had to come into my Park Avenue office every day in New York City. You know, there was a dress code and it was quite strict, and there was a certain behavior that you had. And if you didn't have that behavior, you couldn't last in that environment. So you had to pull out that particular ability or talent of yourself to fit that very limited way of being. So this be you is defined by society also. What can we do? What can we not do in society? Now, I wanted to talk about in acting, an interesting thing has developed over the last, let's say, 150 years. We come from very demonstrative acting, and I think it applies to all of us just being in this world. And the demonstrative way of acting was, you know, that certain gestures meant something, you know, come, or I don't like you, or, you know, I mean, these crazy, they were actually drawings of the gestures you were supposed to make to indicate a particular notion or emotion, but you were not, certainly were not supposed to feel them. And this demonstrative outer, almost like, well, the costume and the gestures and the facial expressions were all stifling the actual human experience of that concept. And when Starkovsky and then the Actors Studio, Lee Strasberg, began the method approach, so method acting was actually, it sounds like it's another method of expressing yourself. You got to do this, you got to do that. But it was actually exploring your deeper experiences of an incident or of an experience that you were then portraying in front of the camera or on stage, whereby it is almost easier in front of the camera because it's more intimate than on stage, because you have to also project so much, you know, when you're sitting in front of or standing in front of 2,000 people. Which I was privileged to experience. And yet, because the people are there and because they carry you, you are able to go into these deeper feelings. Of course, you also work on them. And that's part of the work that I want to do on this weekend as well, as tiny as this window into this true self is. What happens is in method acting that we actually experience or allow ourselves to experience what we already know as an experience in a deeper way. Let me give you an example. When I studied with Barbara Poitier at the Actors Studio, I was already a film in the master's program for film at Columbia University, but I went and studied with Barbara because I wanted to explore that. Even though my acting career was almost like in the past, I decided I really want to learn more about what this is, this method acting. And in the exercise, we were exploring past experiences of high stressful moments and or challenges. And I went into the experience of having near frozen hands as a child skiing in the mountains. But I was like I told you many times, I was not very good in sports. So I was having a hard time being a good skier, right? So I would stand around forever instead of going down that hill. So I was really, really cold and my hands were near frozen. And when your near frozen hands get warmed up again, it is a very particular painfulness. It is very stinging and very sore. And that whole experience, even though it was kind of a physical experience, came back to me in this exercise. And while at the time I couldn't really express what I was feeling, I started bawling in this exercise like crazy and feeling this burning in my hands and also the disappointment in myself that I wasn't good enough in skiing, and all of this came out. So this method acting exercise to take me deeper into what I at the time was, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay. You know, what I completely hid because it didn't fit my own image of what I should be like. I mean, I was not a little child. I was probably like 12, something like that. So very much self-conscious. And yeah, that's the depth of experience that helps us get closer to that true self also, and admitting that it's okay to have pain and it's okay, and embrace that. I mean, saying it's okay, it's almost too little, right? But embracing that which is me and are my limitations in sports or in not being as glib as other people could be, or as I got this, you know, we're going down that hill. In my mind, I would be able to do it, but in reality, I was not. I mean, I did go down, but like really like slowly. And so, but yeah, so that's also what I mean when I say be true, be you. Use those abilities that we have to go deeper, because it doesn't just allow ourselves to feel more true to ourselves, it also allows us to step into a broader experience of what our life experience is. The more honest we are with ourselves and that which comes toward us, the richer our experience of this beautiful life we have on planet Earth is, right? And that's really what I want to encourage you to allow yourself to move toward this richness of experience, and your clients and your tenants and your everybody who you're working with, your children, allow them to have this deep range of experiences of emotions and sensations and sounds and smells and tastes and all this wonder that it is when we are truly opening ourselves to ourselves and the experience. So that rounds out my little introduction. I hope that was meaningful. And I want to ask you what you thought it meant to you when I gave this weekend the title, Be True, Be You.
I think that can be confusing sometimes because you go through phases in life and you change. So you're never sure
Exactly.
where, huh?
Exactly. Beautiful. Yes, you changed because you were here and then there's another part of you.
Because everything changes each day. You're changing because you have a different experience every day. Plus you're maturing. You're a young person, don't think the same way you do as an old person. Just because you're older, your body changes, so your mind changes, I guess. But it's mostly, I think you change as you experience things. And if you're curious, you want to try new things, but they're risky. So you have to be willing to be risky and get out of the house and take risks. So the minute you step out of the house, it's a risk. But if you don't risk things, you don't change and you don't live and you don't grow.
Beautifully said.
So sometimes I'm in always, I've been doing the landlord thing in a long time, and it's what I enjoy doing, and I fell into it because I wanted to try it, and I heard it. I see other people doing it, so I tried it, and but sometimes I've done it so long now. I don't have. Maybe I'm changing now too. Again, that the landlord phase is slowly fading away, and so something new's got to take its place. But also because I'm older, I think I'm more cautious of what I do. Just because I think you get more cautious as you age. You don't want to take too many chances because I'm not able to have the energy. I shouldn't say that. But
Why?
you slow down because you're older, right? You can't avoid it. I mean, I'm eating healthy now and I exercise, but I still feel like I'm about to fall asleep sometimes in the afternoon because I get tired. I think that's just natural. Because if I sit down, I tend to fall asleep.
So
I
I'm
don't.
trying to avoid bleaching out my face. So I'm trying to get the camera to adjust. It just opens back up. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
a little late.
I'm like a sheep, but I can't change that because the sun is shining. All right. It'll change as the sun is moving. But any case, that's beautifully said. But don't you also feel that there's a richness in being older?
Oh yeah, because I understand things better. But I still don't. I don't know. I think you never understand yourself completely.
Mm.
I think you want to find out who you are and what you're about, and that's what it's a learning process. I think you never know completely, but you don't know. I find that's why I like to try new things, because each time I do something else, it tells me something about myself.
Yeah, beautifully said. That's really what I'm getting at, that we all have that experience of finding out more about ourselves. Linda.
I think what Michael said was incredibly perceptive and spot on. I think that for me, be true, be you. I guess it just speaks of, you know, an authenticity of not trying to be what others expect you to be, and you know, when you bring in acting and performing to be the person you think others expect you to be or perceive you to be. But I think along with age, you know, like Mike said, you know, it's like you still look in the mirror and you might look older, but you still feel like you did when you were, you know, 22. You know, like I still feel and react and think the way I did when I was much younger, but I'm just in this much older body. But there's this huge benefit of being older, and because there's just this wisdom that comes with that, where, you know, you don't feel so naive. You don't feel like, you know, somebody tells you something and it's, you know, that, well, yeah, that has to be true. That, you know, you think about things more, and you don't rely on other people to give you knowledge. You know, you find stuff out for yourself, or you experience it. Like Mike says, that's what's so critical about going out and trying new things, just because of what you learn from it, and that wisdom that you gain over the years that you don't have, and you know you didn't have when you were in your 20s or 30s or 40s sometimes. So to me, be true, be you is just getting to that point where you can be authentic. You don't have you don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore.
Yes, 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 yes. And I'm trying this again. So- yes, 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 exactly. You don't have to prove anything. And at the same time, you're challenging yourself to
Right.
remain in that authenticity, because it's so easy to fall back into what's expected, right? Even what we sometimes expect from ourselves, because of course we're not free of those cultural impacts. Yeah, beautiful. Now, who is 415 on the phone? Are you able to unmute yourself? Is that Christine?
Hi, I figured it out. *6.
You figured it out. Okay. So,
Yeah, it's Christine. I didn't get to hear the story all the way through because I was trying to get on and I was having a little bit of trouble doing it.
yes. So what I'm asking now is, what does it mean to you to be true and be you?
Knowing what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Not seeking approval. Just knowing my heart's desire, and also turning supposedly a bad experience into a learning and a good experience. Because that happened to me yesterday. Yesterday, I did a job, and you know, a job kind of job. It was $25 an hour, and it was a food demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't, I'd never done it before. So they hired me, and I just didn't even have hardly any input, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I went on YouTube and I looked at a food demo. I found one, and probably could have found more than one, but that helped the demo helped because it was like I didn't even think about bringing a little wastebasket for myself and for where the cups would go, because I was demonstrating a food cracker. So here's the sales job. You know, I have avoided sales my whole life, and I'm pretty old.
Isn't that true for all of us?
I have avoided it like the plague. There's a few other things I've avoided too, like becoming a secretary or doing something that required me to add up numbers and be accurate. There's all these things, right? So I go into this thing not knowing half the things to do. And at the end, I'm supposed to write a report. First of all, the job just like totally slayed me. You know, it was like every little spot on my body hurt. By the end of the day, I thought I was half dead. Then I had to get home. And I went home, and then I was like, oh my God, I just have to lie down. And then I was like, this is just not for me, okay? This is like horrible. You know, this is definitely not a career move. Anyway, and then this
So
morning
what
I
did you
call
what
up
did
the-
you take away from this experience?
Well, at the end, so I'm trying to fill out these things, right? These forms, reports and stuff like that. And then I thought, you know, everything fails. Everything in life is kind of sales, isn't it? There's nothing really that isn't. And so
Because
I
because
was like,
sales is really just communication. That, yeah, you're right.
yeah. And then I was thinking, well, okay, I didn't do this like half right. I did it half right. And I didn't know a lot. And they were totally fine with it. They're like, it's okay, just figure it out and put some numbers in there and just estimate. And I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy. And then I thought, well, you know, it's a little tiny gig that will afford me some cash. And maybe I'm learning something here that I resisted learning my whole life.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah. And did you have to communicate with customers?
Oh, yeah. I even did a little bit of stand-up comedy. Okay, because I think stand-up comedy is really my true calling, right? So this cracker is called Moonshot. And so I told this one guy, I said, well, you know, she's really a smart cookie for having done this and this and this. And I'm like, I mean, she's a smart cracker, because I was pushing crackers, right? Anyway, and he laughed. And so I was like, oh, you know, all that I learned would be so perfect for a YouTube stand-up stick, you know, or whatever. And then my mind just started going in all these different directions of like what I could do. And then when I talked to the lady who was managing me, she was like, oh, you just ask for the sale. You just say, oh, you need 2 of these. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. That's how much I didn't know.
Yes.
It's kind of like, oh, you need the raspberry. Oh, you need the chocolate, and you need the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to me that I could ask for the sale, you know.
Yes.
So
Beautiful. Yeah. And what I wanted to get to also, Christine, is when you ask yourself, who is this, the true me? Of course, this was a really cute thing because we all deal with that communication of, I want to give you something, you need to give me something in return, right? That whole exchange is, of course, it is what is life, what we do. But I also wanted to get to who else is in there, in that human being called Christine, that wants to come out and be true, be you, be out there.
yeah, who else? Oh, well, there's the singer in me. There's the, you know, my dreams, my hopes and my dreams. Not
Yeah.
just selling a box of crackers.
Hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe I could do blah, you know, this thing, it's like the problem solver, it's the dreamer, it's the person who actually takes an action, it's the person who actually makes a commitment, it's this thing, it's that thing. There's all these little parts in me. My heart, my heart's in there.
Yeah, Yeah.
Where's my heart?
you want to live your heart. That's a beautiful expression, live your heart. And that heart, Michael was just saying, that has, of course, different phases in life. And sometimes it surprises us how long it takes until a particular phase comes through. One of my colleagues from the business training, the online coaching training, she's an artist performance coach, just wrote an email. I think she's approaching 50, that she and her husband finally got the call that was her lifelong dream. And for 11 years, she's been hoping and working on all kinds of modalities to get there. And last night they held their adopted daughter in their arms for the first time. Makes me cry when I talk about it.
Oh, wow. That's so beautiful.
But that's also the ability to hold on to some of our dreams, and sometimes they come true the very last minute, right? Because they don't give you children even in adoption once you're over 50 for the most part.
Ah,
So
yeah, that's right.
So yeah. So for you, this dream of being on stage regularly, not just the occasional time, yeah, will come late in life, but I still see that you're holding that dream in your heart. So it's also part of your heart.
Yeah. I mean, I I made a deal with somebody the other day, that I wanted certain things with that part of my life, the music.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I know you need this, and this is what I want, and I'm like, let's make it happen. Yeah, I do this, and you help me with this.
Wonderful.
So we started that. So it's a big list of songs, and then also there was the thing that kind of got me going was I did a little backup singing for a girlfriend of mine, and it was that "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele, and it's quite a passionate song. It sounds like she's pretty pissed off at the guy in the song.
Christine,
but anyway,
can you sing us one line of a jazzy song?
One line of a jazzy song? Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see, which one do I want to sing? I've got an island in the Pacific, and everything about it is terrific. I've got the sun to tan me, palms to fan me, and an occasional man. How's that?
Beautiful. Yeah, the sound doesn't reverberate
sound
very
doesn't
well on
work
the
out.
microphone. Beautiful. So yeah. Can you see us? No, huh?
No, I'm just on the phone. I
Yeah.
was trying to get on with the Zoom, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't let me very easily. So
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but there was applause on the audience here.
oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, the band shall join in soon. All right, we will talk more about that. We also had onto our agenda that we're talking about the smoothies we've had today, or we're showing. And does anybody want to tell about their smoothie? Linda is showing hers. What's in yours?
Well, mine has a long list of what's in mine, but
Go
it's
ahead.
mostly coconut water, sesame milk. I put some raw spinach, some frozen blueberries, Then I put a lot of powders, pine powder, some prebiotics, moringa, maca, reishi. I've got 6 more, some black seeds, ashwagandha. For liquids, I add a little dragon's blood, a little foti, a little iodine. And I'm not going to tell you it's all that tasty, but I know it's healthy.
How's your stomach?
It's fine. I've been doing it
Okay.
for a while. So yeah, it's usually the same combo, but it's sometimes I'll add like I have broccoli sprout powder. I have, so I'll add different I love, your Brooke Goldner and her cruciferous greens. So I do try to add, if I can't put a lot of raw greens, I'll try to put powders in. So, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's keto, it's low carb, it's and the blueberries and the coconut help make it quite palatable. So all the other stuff, not so much, but it's not bad.
Okay, Michael, did you have a smoothie today?
No, I was eating the ginger brownies.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you threw them into a blender, they would reconstitute to somewhat a smoothie, I suppose, because they've got apples and pears and lots of nuts and
Yeah.
raisins and dates in them. All right. So what's in my smoothie, contrary to Linda, is very simple and just all fresh stuff. Let me tell you what's in my smoothie. I mean, it kind of looks pale. It was very
Very
purple when
thick.
I first blended it, but what's in it is the rest of the salad greens from yesterday's dinner. We had a beautiful fireplace dinner yesterday. And red cabbage,
Oh, nice.
banana, pear, really nice ripe pear, apple, and blueberries and strawberries frozen, and a couple of tablespoons of flaxseed. That's it. So it's all fresh, all raw, no powders, and it's delicious. So there you have it, Linda.
I know,
Oh.
I should keep it simple. I should apply the KISS rule to my smoothies.
And you see, I make a
A
little
picture.
picture.
We should have a smoothie tasting. Everybody brings a smoothie and we get to taste
Huh.
like wine tasting.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what we should do. Well, I had one smoothie challenge once that had people from around the globe, because I had just finished a summit with speakers from around the globe, Australia and Japan and Africa, South Africa, and various places, and Iran, and of course Europe and the Americas. Anyway, we had some really interesting smoothies in there, and there were like 35 people in there, and so that brought a broad variety of fruits and stuff you hadn't even ever heard of. That was really exciting. But keeping it simple, you don't have to be fancy schmancy and get all these powders. This is going to cleanse your body and build new tissue just fine, meaning fruits and greens and a little bit of flax for omega-3s. And yes, if you want to extra cleanse and build immunity and heal, the high cruciferous are particularly beneficial. But so Linda, do not give that drink to your new clients, because
Not ever. No way.
you don't want to get them to hold their nose and say,
No, not at all. Yours, it sounds much better.
It is very edible and delicious. Yes.
The Tony bought something yesterday. Was apples, ginger, and carrot juice.
Yes,
Is that considered a smoothie or a juice?
that was a juice because the fiber is taken out.
Right.
Oh,
Most of the harder parts, right, are taken out. And when you make a juice, you literally separate the liquid from the solids, and the solids go into a different part, and it's called the mulch. And or
it
the what else? What's the other
health-wise?
name?
Hmm?
The fibrous parts. And very often people don't use that part. And I always find that a little bit of a waste, to throw out so much of the good food.
Oh.
Yeah, the bulk, what's another name for it?
Oh,
Pulp. That's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. Oh,
So you're losing nutrition that way? You're
yes,
losing
you're
some
using,
nutrition?
you're losing roughage and fiber and some minerals, because you're often eliminating the skins, which are also the tougher parts, right? Or for example, in carrots, the skin of the carrot has B vitamins and phytonutrients, and has a little bit of, if it's organic, a little bit of dirt in them, so that you get microbes and B vitamins that you don't get if you eliminate the skin. Like people who peel their carrots are doing themselves a disfavor. And I think some of that happens in the juicing process as well. You eliminate the roughage, the pulp.
I
Calcium
scrub
often is also in the pulp. Go
I
ahead.
scrub the carrots with a brush. Is that no good?
If you have organic carrots, why brush? Just rinse under a little water so that you don't chew on sand. But
Should I peel my potatoes? I peel potatoes.
no. The only thing really good about potatoes is the peel in terms of nutrients.
Really?
Not really. I mean, I love potatoes too, but definitely leave the skins on. Do you boil your potatoes or steam them, or how do you cook them?
I boil them.
Well, that's the old fashioned, that's what my mother did. She peeled
what
all
my
the
mother did,
potatoes and
yeah.
then cut them in pieces and boiled them, threw away the water, which is where the other half of the nutrients is. And then you're left with this mush that is just pretty,
Starch.
yeah, pretty void of other nutrients than starch. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so how do you do it?
it's a European practice
Yeah.
that has become, and think of it a few hundred years back, the kings and the royalty and the upper echelons of society could afford to have only the white stuff, right? Only the fine stuff inside. So they would throw away the skin of the grain, calling it bran, right? And only keep the germ, and everything is removed, only keep the white flour inside, right? And at the time, that was a very expensive process. Regular people couldn't afford to have white flour, right? Or white rice. You take the skin away. And the same is true for potatoes and other vegetables, apples. They peeled everything because it was sophisticated and refined if you did not eat the skin. It was the poor people ate the skin stuff, right? And the
But
refined,
maybe the skin had pesticides on, so it was good to peel it.
but not 500 years ago. I mean, no, that developed kind of that whole eating habit in the European arena developed kind of with the exploration and the colonization of the world, but also together with royalty. All of Europe was, of course, ruled by royalty, and the subjects, meaning the regular folks, they would eat everything in the scraps, and the royalty would eat only the what they considered the finest, what they could afford, but they were also the ones, and they would also be the only ones that would eat a lot of meat, because nobody else could really afford that. You know, it's a lot of effort to hunt a rabbit, and then you have to live on it for a while if you wanted to share it with your family, etc. So that's how that developed, this whole concept of peeling things. And of course, yes, I mean, if you eat non-organic foods, you better peel them, because there's so much, not just pesticides and herbicides on them, but also waxes and chemical solutions. I'm sure I've spoken about visiting an orange farm and packaging facility, and I saw how the oranges after harvest are poured in this big factory, you know, in this huge, imagine a huge, like a caterpillar fork, but times 20 or something, you know, really huge, you know, putting, and like, but it is a like a strainer, and all these oranges are dipped into a really stinking chemical solution that kills off all germination, fungi, and any kind of life on the skin of the fruit, right? And they do that not just with oranges, but with apples and pears and everything else. So first in this chemical solutions, then they come back up, get shaken a little bit so that, you know, the excess liquid comes off, and then they get poured into another big basin, like a swimming pool size basin, with a wax solution, and it's a hot wax that creates a skin on the fruit. So when you eat a regular apple or orange or pear, etc., you know, you will have that wax. It doesn't come up like thick like candle wax, but it actually goes into the pores and closes off the fruit's ability to breathe, and of course closes off the ability of the fruit to rot. Right? It can only then rot from the inside. I'm sure you've seen regular apples and pears that only rot on the inside, and the outside still looks very pretty. That's typical for a chemically treated fruit. So when they come out of this wax, then they get dried and packaged in cartons to go and get shipped to the distribution center, and then to the store, and then to the consumer, right? And that takes a whole long time. And therefore, this of course creates shelf life, but it also creates a lot of poison. So, and that's why, you know, organic fruits, of course, are much shorter lived and go bad faster, and people will complain, oh, but the organic stuff always goes bad. Yeah, that's why, because naturally everything decomposes when its life is done, right? And of course, we can extend that life of fruit because we have refrigeration. In refrigeration, the fungi and molds and the bacteria that cause the decomposition that we call rot are not as active. They cannot be as active in a colder temperature. So when you warm the temperature, then yeah, the busybodies are decomposing, right? So that's really some of the biology. And if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, how that's done, I would have a hard time believing it too.
Right.
But
They don't
yeah.
put it on the label.
No, because it's all permitted, and you know, supposedly you are washing it off, but there's no way you can wash it off, because when the apple or the orange go into the solution, it is still alive and still breathing and sucking in whatever you put on it.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
So should I cook potatoes?
Cut them. Well, I think you're doing a little bit better if you steam them.
Oh,
with little water, and just cut them into pieces, leave the skin on.
okay.
But make sure they're organic, again, because potatoes, get treated even worse, well, it's kind of a similar process. I happen to have translated documents of how what has been developed as an antibiotic for humans was too toxic or too phototoxic, they call that, meaning you couldn't go out into the light after you've eaten it, for humans, because you would break out in blisters. So they decided, oh, but it can be used as a growth inhibitor. So it can be used on potatoes and carrots and other things that we don't want to see sprout, right? Potatoes in particular, because potatoes don't do very well with radiation. Tomatoes are typically radiated, they're irradiated, that is called, right? So nuclear radiation exposure. But potatoes have the wonderful tendency to sprout, right? We have all these little things coming out, creating long sprouts if they lie around too long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're organic potatoes. So this antibiotic that was developed by Bayer was then reconfigured to become a growth inhibitor for potatoes.
Oh, wow.
So then it's sprayed on potatoes because the potatoes are not having the same reaction that humans would have breaking out in hives. So,
Wow.
but you might once you eat them, you don't know.
I'll
No.
buy organic from now on.
No kidding.
You have such a beautiful store near where you live anyway, right?
Yeah, Nature's
Yeah.
Pantry.
Yeah. So yes, there's more nutrient density in skins of fruits. Now, some fruits we can't eat the skin, like the citrus fruits, we typically can only eat limited amounts of the skin because the skin is so strong. It's such a cleanser that it becomes too strong for our stomach if we eat a lot of the skin. But a little bit of the skin is actually incredibly cleansing. It's like an antibiotic. Or yeah, you can also make cleaning agents out of the skins of oranges in particular. Orange oil. So
Well, they use orange for cleaning things,
Mhm.
mhm,
especially clean grease off your hands. They use the orange.
Or lemon.
exactly. So, and when that is natural oil, then you hopefully have that natural oil from non-chemically treated oranges. That's another thing.
No, don't drink it. I don't.
Don't
Mm.
drink it, especially if it's not organic. So yes, those are just some of the things that make this stuff really good and make your food really good. Oh, yeah, a couple of other skins that are not so edible are banana skins. You can eat them, but they just don't taste nice. It's kind of bitter. And pineapple skins. Papaya is also not very tasty. But mango skins are very much edible and add a wonderful rich mango flavor in your smoothie. So if you have an organic mango, you can cut off the entire side and put it into your smoothie with the skins. All right.
Kiwis too.
Kiwis too, exactly, yes. Good, so thank you for your contributions to your smoothies. Christine, did you have a smoothie today or lately? No?
I had a organic carrot juice.
Yeah, there you go. That's, and when
yeah.
you go to, of course, when you go to a juice bar or a smoothie bar and get a carrot juice, they hopefully don't peel the carrots when they make you the carrot juice.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked. This was something that I bought on the shelf, but usually what I make is first thing in the morning I have some lemon, fresh lemon, organic lemon and water.
Mhm.
And then the next thing I have is after a while, you know, till that's gone through, then I have the organic celery juice, and I do that myself. I have one of those press. It's a juicer, but it presses the juice out,
Beautiful.
and yeah, my body seems to really like that.
Many people have sought out the celery juice because it's easy and you can feel the impact very quickly, right?
Yeah.
How it's healing. Yeah, I just want to put it out there. It was at one point, it was claimed to be like the it all, the celery juice. But of course, almost any juice of fresh vegetables will do the same thing. Celery is a little bit more palatable than cabbage juice, for example, because it's very strong, right? But when the cabbage becomes infused with fruits, it becomes very much palatable. So I just want to put it out there that all vegetables, fruits and vegetables, wherever you are in the world, will have an almost similar impact, because all fruits and vegetables have that cleansing ability if you with regularity put them into your body and not put something detrimental into your body afterwards, so that the effect of one thing blocks out the positive effect of the previous thing. Somebody on my mastermind was saying, what about herbs, and what about healing with herbal tinctures, etc. And I went into this whole rant about no herb can override your hot dog or your steak or your beef burger, because you may feel better from the herbal tinctures or teas, etc. But if you then go back and do the thing, or fried chicken or whatever, or deep fried stuff also, then you ruin the effect of the herb. It cannot override a bad diet. So that's why I always emphasize start with the good lifestyle. All right. Thank you for sharing, Christine.
Okay.
So the next phase of the retreat is that we each try to define what this next be you, be true looks like, and what. So define again what we've been working on and what that aspiration is, working toward this next you. So I encourage everybody to have a drink so that we can relax into this next phase. This is almost like food. It's so thick. Michael, do you have something? Unfortunately, I can't share through the screen. Okay. What do we want to have this next phase to be? Yeah, if you want, I can start.
Sure.
Linda is nodding. I want my next phase to be the better business person, the better salesperson. Thank you, Christine, for bringing that up, and the better communicator of what I can do in different areas. I'm exploring together with a contractor, getting a couple of pieces of real estate and allowing myself to be yet another facet of myself. And it's exciting to play through what that looks like, being that person. Of course, we have some experience if we've ever purchased a house and renovated it, or had ideas and had somebody renovate for us according to our ideas. And I've certainly done that, but doing it as a business and actually cherishing money more in a weird way, like not as something that defines me, but something that I have an easier time dealing with. I think many of us of my generation have those inhibitions of feel embarrassed, ashamed. And while I am really, really promoting a new financial system in the world, but what Christine just said, you know, this life is sales, is that exchange of I give you this, you give me that. And I'm not promoting exploitation, and I'm not even promoting charity, because I actually believe that charity is devastating in the world, because only once you've taken everything away from people do they even need charity. In the world that we have today. Of course, that assumes that we have an inclusive society in which we do not take things away from people, including from people who are special needs people, but are including. So, and then of course, and don't perceive that as charity, but still perceive that as they're giving something to us all as a community that is of value. And so, yeah, getting better at that exchange in a mutual way, in a fair way, is what I want to become better at. So a better business person, figuring out how it doesn't feel like excluding some people or being exploitative in any kind of way. So that's I think the goal also with the real estate, and upgrading old structures into something that current generations and future generations can cherish, because housing should really be built for centuries to stay, not for planned obsolescence.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's, and of course, continuing what I do and what I love so much doing, helping people find more of their true use of their true selves so that they can get to the next stage of their lives. All right. Linda, your turn.
I guess so. So next stage, what is true for me? I guess I want to continue this path and get to a point where I can set up a legitimate business that's mine and authentic to me, and walk away from that corporate job that I feel hasn't served me for many years. And, you know, I talked earlier about, you know, authenticity, but just feeling true to what my passion is and what I want to, how I want to serve other people and where I think I can do that best. And whether that's coaching or through ebooks or courses, we're still kind of flushing that out. But I feel like, I'm drawn so much more into nutrition and health and raw food than I'll ever be, working for a defense company. So I'm hoping that this is the year that things really turn around for me. And whatever I decide to do, that, like you say, that not only do I feel there's value in my offering, but that customers, clients do as well. And, I can support myself while feeling like I'm making an impact or difference in the world. So.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about how the learning experience of working in the corporate world will help you or will support you in actually stepping into your own business.
Well, I think working in the corporate world, it gave me a great handle on honing my office skills. So when it comes to reworking my website, drafting content, working financial spreadsheets, I'm more comfortable with that because of what I learned, in my corporate job. I'm much more customer focused. Not that the customer's always right, but that I'm willing to work with them to find, the mutually agreeable or beneficial solution to their problems, because I deal a lot with customers in my job. I think just communication. I think that's where I see in the corporate world, it's lacking both internally and with our external customers. So I've learned, just by watching how other people are within the company, that's, how critical that is to communicate, whether it's picking up the phone or an email, it's touching base, it's staying engaged. And I think that will carry forward into my business because I do see the value and the importance in that. And I think those are 3 big takeaways for me.
Great. Yeah, because I always want to assure people that everything you have gone through can serve you for the next level. It's not that it was wrong or it was not really you, but it's another part of you, of that broad palette of changing me, changing our being, that serves us toward each level.
Yep, I think it was a stepping stone that just happened to last 18 years. It's a really big step.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So yeah, it'll help you set up ship and overcome the shyness, like you just said. You actually recognize that the ease of communication is there when we overcome or step out of the shyness, which is a form of inhibition, a form of holding ourselves back. And that's often the hardest to tackle.
It is.
That self-imposed, and it often feels like, at least for me, it's so automatic to find excuses not to go into that uncomfortable next exposure that, yeah, the breathing will help. But let's first hear what other people's next you looks like. Michael, you want to continue?
Okay, I was, I never did get the agenda, so I didn't know what we were going to be talking about. I guess I couldn't find it on my email. But now that you mentioned it, I think, what was the question? No.
What is the next you? Talking about the changing forward.
I
mean-
think that, yeah,
We already
what-
know, but I want you to articulate it again.
what I want to do going forward?
Yeah.
Well, I've always been thinking about something where I wanted to be at a place where I lost, I think, during my childhood. Because I had some really wow moment, what do you call it? Wow moments or something that's really special, almost spiritual. It
Yeah.
always happened when I was out in the woods or I went with uncle. I was very young then. I went fishing with my uncle and it was a stream and it was beautiful. The birds were singing and there were dragonflies all over and I never experienced that before. And I was so attracted to that.
Yeah, it's
So,
like stepping into a magic world, right? That gives
magic,
you-
the magic, yeah. I lost
Mhm.
the magic. And I want to find it again. It's
Yes,
been a long time. And I want to find that, some of those experiences I had as a child. But I don't know if it's possible anymore to find it
oh, it totally is.
because maybe it doesn't exist anymore. The world's changed too much.
But trees are still trees and streams are still streams and nature is out there and you just need to go into the mountains. I mean, as you know.
Well, that's what I think I should do, yeah, to find that. I don't, I could do a lot of things, but it's not going to give me that
Yes,
because I mean, near your, you have so many years left, so I think I want to make it special the last few
Yes.
years. 'Cause
yes,
I have a limited amount of time to do what I always wanted to do or always thinking about.
yeah.
But every life gets caught up in the way and you have to support yourself. So that's reality.
That's
But now I can-
reality, yes. And to
Yeah.
find that to do both is the trick.
Right.
And-
Well, that's what I guess when people retire and they have enough money they can live on, they can then try to find out what what's left, what left they can do, what they've always wanted to do, right?
Yeah, but yes and no. The people that I know who are friends of mine who have enough money to live out their years, interestingly, strange things happen to them in their families that don't really allow them to do what they plan to do, or there's something inside that is not really happy with just, always wanted to take cruises around the world and, forever and well,
No,
things like that.
Yeah, that could be expectations that aren't, you find out that aren't really, which aren't the answer.
That don't really make you happy.
You get disappointed because you can't do that all the time. You need,
No, but also when you are not experiencing other people's appreciation of what you do, it becomes less happy and less fulfilling an experience for you. So if you just go out because that's what you always wanted to do, and you're not, even if you just brought along somebody who couldn't afford to, or did something, on that cruise or with that cruise, just as an example, because that's so many old people's dream, to travel the world on a cruise ship. It gets very empty in your heart when you don't have the experience of another person or other people's appreciation of you.
yeah, that's nice to have, but you can't always have it. But you can still get a lot out of doing something on your own. In fact, sometimes I feel I need to be on my own when I'm out in nature, just so I'm not distracted by another person. So I can really be an experience of being close and listening. I'm usually distracted when someone else, because they're talking to me. So I go myself. I like going myself.
Yeah. But you also like to come back and do something with your son and know that there are people who need you, that are your tenants who need you, etc. I don't think you would be, I mean, nobody is an island, of course. That's the bottom line, is that nobody is actually happy living by themselves off if they could live off the land for many years, right? There's
No, yeah,
always the
it's-
need for human contact. So
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
and human contact means reflecting yourself on somebody else and having that person reflecting themselves on you, however that exchange is. And
Yeah,
again, back
that's
to Christine's, sales should really be one of those encounters, reflecting the other person in me. Oh, what is the need that that person has, and reflecting myself in them, and an exchange can happen. It's not easy to get right, but it is, I think, what makes us humans also, that connection. I mean, you
No,
wouldn't have a son if you didn't connect in the first place with another human being.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, you had to have that. But I take him too because he enjoys it. He enjoys it like me. He enjoys being out there. If he didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't. If he's complaining to me when I can't walk this far, I want to go home and watch movies. And I wouldn't take him, but he does enjoy it. So I enjoy his company when I go out and take a walk in the woods. Right?
Right. And you enjoy his company because he enjoys the fact that you're taking him, because he wouldn't go on his own, probably.
No, he'll call me to go out.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So again, it's that interaction. And if we're talking about your next business, the glamping business, I want you to take that notion so that others can experience that. I want to give you an experience of sitting under a tree or sitting by the fire and just being, that kind of what you're just describing that you need. Everybody needs that, not exclusively, but from time to time. And again, you could make that your specialty, that this is what we provide, or we prohibit loud music in the area, or because we met, or we have a meditation class, or we have something that makes your glamping spot special. And
A
again,
nature retreat.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And maybe even silent walks, or you say, okay, I will take you to the Catskills or to the Bear Mountain area, and we will walk, but we will be quiet. You could have that as a special. Many people yearn for that.
Yeah, because they don't know what quiet is. They're always
Yes.
bombarded by noise all the time.
Exactly.
They yearn for that. They need that quiet.
Exactly. So here's another idea I think that might work very well for your particular glamping business, that invites people to go on a silent walk. And you would be a great leader for that. So, now we stop talking, and 2 hours in, when we come back and have dinner by the fire or lunch in a whatever place, then we can talk again. I think that would be a deep experience, especially if you walk people to a waterfall, where there's all that other noise and beautiful.
Well,
I'll come.
I'll have to put that in the agenda. No talking.
Well, for specific times, obviously. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. No, I think that'd be good. I would like that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right, Christine, you too? The next you? Are you still with us?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. The next me is to get back to what I was loving so much, and which was singing, and finishing out some of my music. And I wrote a song about my cat Fred, and I want to get the music done, the arrangement done, and so that I can sing it, so I can produce it. And I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great if the voices were on this recording, right? And because it's about a black cat, a little black cat, and I am able to listen in my head to how all that will sound. And it took on so many different directions. And just pick a direction, right? And one of the things is I just want to say on a side note about the silent glamping experience. I did that with a group many, many years ago. Over 10
Michael,
years
you
ago.
need to hear this, because he just walked away, I think, to the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, wait, I had to go to the bathroom.
There you go. Take your
So,
device with you. Turn off your thing.
Christine.
Yeah, I
Christine,
did
say
the
that again.
silent. Okay. Is he there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm here. I'm
so-
back. I'm back.
Oh, you're back? Okay, that was fast. Good job. I did the silent glamping thing. It wasn't glamping. It wasn't camping. It was actually but it was a silent retreat. A bunch of us went. And it was I think it was an all-day thing. And so I know that's possible because I did it. I signed up. And then, and people, are open to that kind of thing. Well, I live in California. We're open to just about everything out here.
Yeah.
I call it the woo-woo state, but people want that, and so it's not a problem.
Mm.
And it
So
was
what did you
interesting,
gain, Christine? What did you feel you gained from that experience, or what did you enjoy about it?
Being able to be with people and not be required to say anything. Just taking them in different ways, or not taking them in. You can look at them, you can not look at them. I went on a walk, and then I realized sound goes up, and I thought I would go on a hill, and it would be all quiet out there, but all the noise from the valley traveled up to the top of the hill, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that happens.
Yeah.
And so it was like discovery, and it was a chance to just be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really great.
That's really interesting what you just said. The sounds from the valley travel up, and you become so much more perceptive to it, because very quickly, and I remember this from climbing in the Alps with my father. We often climbed long stretches silently, just listening to the sounds of the valley, again, of the valley, and the cows down in the valley with bells on their necks, and some church bells and some birds and so forth. And you hear the sound of your steps suddenly, and within a very short time, your perception multiplies, right? Of all the sounds that are out there in nature.
Yeah, you don't realize how much sound is out there until you're out there. And then there's all this sound, and it's like, oh my God, I thought it was going to be this. I had expected this. I anticipated this, and I'm getting this. Wow, that's a big learning curve.
Yeah, beautiful. So there you have it, Michael. Now you can go.
Okay.
All right. It is a little early because there's few of us. Derry just wanted to have me send him a phone number, and let me just see if I can find a phone number to dial in. Did you use a phone number to dial in, Christine? Oh, you're muted again.
Yeah, I just picked one from the group. It was the first one that was listed and I picked that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and send him a phone number.
But I tried to get on with a computer, but I was supposed to sign in and I couldn't figure out, well, how do I sign in? Was I signing in with Google or what was it, you know? I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, because it was actually on Zoom, you have to register, so you were able to get in by the number.
Well, on the phone, I didn't have to sign in. I did register, otherwise I wouldn't have got the
Oh, yeah.
information. But
Mhm.
I needed to do that, so I did that.
Yes, so he needs to
Um,
register.
Oh, and then can I finish out what I want to be my next thing?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, because so there's lots of parts to it. Like you think you're gonna just like do a CD, but you've got to figure out the songs. You got to figure out which ones, and you put all the possible ones, and then you're gonna like maybe record most of those songs, or then you pick out, you know, and is there going to be a theme and all this stuff? And so it's a little bit daunting. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to write down the songs. So I'm making it into steps, and not requiring myself to do, you know, making it an achievable goal.
Yeah, you know what I love about it? Just like Nicole's story with after 11 years of trying with her husband, finally holding that baby in her arms. I don't know whether you caught that story.
Yeah, you did mention something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know,
that.
and she was saying how many years it can take when you in between think, oh my God, I'll never get there, I'll never be a mother, I'll never get there, I'll never be on stage. You know, in between, there's so many moments of despondency, but you always get back up on your feet and you always pursue, and then it will happen because it seems to be meant to happen in this lifetime.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be still full of that drive toward it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole COVID thing just was so heartbreaking. But even you know, I could have been doing stuff even during that time, but I don't know. I guess I got kind of pulled down by the rest of it, just as much as some other people did. And
Yes. Yes, I think we all were like, we were either angry and, you know, why? And in my case, you know, why does everybody comply and not see through this nonsense? And other people were like, oh, but so-and-so is dying and people are really sick and it's awful. And, you know, so everybody had their own experience of this phase. And it impacted all of us. I mean, there's absolutely no denying.
There was some positive things on the, for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They said the pollution levels went way down.
Yes.
they actually did, and I saw that.
Yes.
I got to witness that.
So all
let's all
our
stop driving.
activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people enjoyed it because they got to stop doing everything all the time and relax and center on what they wanted to do, like make songs and do music. It was a relaxing period for some people. They weren't under the stress of having to go to work.
Yeah, and we could also, like I always say, we could turn it into, turn your traumas into tools is one of my big mantras, right? So we could also turn that disappointment, and in my case, that anger and disappointment into, okay, I'm going to start something new, like you said, Michael, and that's what happened. And of course, we needed to finance that and figure out ways how to do that and get our PPP money if we had a business and so forth. So yeah. Good, beautiful. So we all have set goals, and it doesn't look like Derry is going to get in here right now. Can you all see the Cowspiracy link that is on the side here? I just wanted to make sure that everybody can see that. And then I want to go into the breathing exercise. I mean, I just want to make sure that it's there, that I don't forget that, this is the link. You can also just go to YouTube and put Cowspiracy.
I don't
And
see a link though, but
Yeah, did you put it in the chat or?
yes. Mhm.
It's not in there yet.
Oh,
How do you spell that?
it's in there. It's higher up. I put it in first.
In where?
tonight's
The
movie.
email? It's in the
No,
email?
in the email, it's in the agenda, and you didn't get the agenda, Christine. So my apologies. I will do that in our break. I will send you the agenda. It's also
Okay.
on the agenda, the link. But I just wrote it in the chat again, Cowspiracy.
Is it COW or CAW?
C-O, like a cow.
That's what I thought. Okay, you spelled it with an A, so I thought.
I
is it-
did? Oh my God. Oh,
I thought it was with an O. I'm just making sure. I haven't seen this movie either. And you can probably, Michael might want the agenda as well. It sounds like he,
yeah. Cowspiracy.
Yeah.
Now it's correct.
on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. And why I chose that movie, even though it is, you might think it's a vegan propaganda piece, but it gives us a global impact view. And I wanted to then have that to consider our global impact that we have in everything we do every day. So that's why that is there. Tomorrow's movie is also very important because it speaks to how little so-called freedom we actually have historically and in today's world. So in my view, how glad we shall be and how exuberantly happy we should be that we do have more choice than ever before in written history. So that's why I'm giving you those two pieces, because they contextualize, like I've said in my emails, they contextualize our own impact and our own life's contribution.
So one is Cowspiracy and the other one is what?
The other one is 97% owned. And again, that's on the agenda, but I'll put the link to that again in tomorrow. I don't have it ready now because I'd have to go back to YouTube and copy it. And like I said, it's also in the agenda. And if you open the agenda online in your email and click on the link, it'll get you right there.
Okay.
Now Christine doesn't have the agenda, but I'm going to send you that after the breathing exercises and when we break for watching the movie. And we can end the day a little early because it's few of us. Then, yeah, and then what's important is to then after watching the movie, discuss what it is teaching us and how we relate our own existence on planet Earth to it. And it's all very grand because I'm just a grand personality. So I always want to contextualize us on a planet that is slowly changing, and we each can contribute to that change. And as toxic and as misguided as it is, I want to say, and as it has been for a long time, just to give you an example, I just came across a person saying what Western cultures have done for the last thousands of, we could include the Romans, 2,500 years in terms of cruelty is really unimaginable. And this speaker was talking about putting the slave trade into the context of what had preceded the slave trade in forms of the Inquisition, the burning of witches, over 1 million of them in the European context. So we come out of a very, very brutal, cruel, warring period of humanity. And, here we're talking for the first time about love. And, when I grew up as a kid, the word love was like, you were embarrassed to ever have it come across your lips unless you whispered it into the ear of your beloved when you were, but now we can say I love you to everybody and mean it. And this isolation that we had is slowly breaking open again, which is part of our authentic being. So coming out of this cruelty of existence on planet Earth is also part of what my mission is and what I know that all of you want to partake in. So that is why, you might wonder and say, well, I already know that meat is bad for you or something like that. That's not what I mean when we're watching that. I mean the broader context and the broader impact of our life. So, okay, now to,
Could we just take like a 2-minute break?
oh yeah, and then come back to
Great.
breathing,
Yes, that'd be super.
because after breathing is the break. Okay. Okay,
Oh, how long is the breathing?
the breathing is just like a maximum 10 minutes. We're going to do a couple of runs. So let's take a break
Okay.
now and then be really peed out and everything when we get to breathing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just staying on just in case somebody else pops in.
I've been doing the 4-7-8 breathing.
Oh, I don't know that. What I know is the Wim Hof method, and I love that. So do you learn?
Oh, yeah,
something new?
I've been doing the cold shower.
There you go.
I'm day 5. I want to do a live, but I can't figure out how to get the live on my phone.
Oh, you wanted to see everybody?
I want everybody to see it.
Mhm. You sound good, Christine. I'm really happy you made it.
Yeah, it was like Wim said, he said something to me that kind of spoke to me because, he says a lot of things, but the thing that I liked was go to the cold, go to the cold. So the cold doesn't come to you, he's like,
Yeah.
he's so great to listen to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I have a history with cold too. That's why I told the freezing hands story too. So I get cold easily. And stepping into the cold is that, embrace that which is adverse to you in a way. Because if you embrace it, it becomes part of you and can no longer be your enemy or your nemesis or your challenge.
yeah,
And it's
yeah, great.
Is the breathing is half of the feeling the cold part, right? You have
Yes.
to know, if you can't learn the breathing part, you can't tolerate the cold, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. When Wim Hof says, well, some people you just have to walk them into the cold water because it forces you to breathe deeply, right? when you step into cold water, you go, but, but then you realize that when you relax in the cold, it actually doesn't have a grip on you anymore. Of course, you still can't just stay in there forever.
Not like he does.
Well, if heat is above a certain temperature, the same applies, right? I always say you can sit in a sauna for a while, but you couldn't live in it.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put on a light too. But I'm still bleached out. So weird, this camera.
When does the retreat start tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have the longest day. Tomorrow we have the exercises at noon.
It starts at noon?
Well, we have the workout at noon, and then there's a break again. And then then the sharing of different, we could, if everybody agrees, we could just start at 2, since there's relatively few people. So it always depends on how many people have to tell their stories, you know?
Is that noon Pacific or noon Eastern?
No, that's Eastern.
Oh,
So if we start at 2 and skip the lunch, we don't have a movie for the lunch anyway tomorrow. We could do that too. Let's discuss that for a minute. But yeah, we could start at 2 with the workout, but the workout is about a half hour, and everybody should participate. And it's very simple exercises that you all can do.
but how long is the whole thing? Like, if it started at 9, because I have something at 10. How long is the whole
So
thing?
if we started at 2, that would be 11 for you for the workout. And then we
But it-
have,
Started at noon, it would be at 9. How long is the event? How long is it?
it's the whole weekend.
No, but I mean, how long during the day?
Tomorrow is from, I think we just decided, Linda, that we're not starting at noon tomorrow, but at 2.
Yeah,
with
that's
the-
really hard for me. I already have something.
Yeah, well, then you'll just be coming in and out. You'll see what you can catch. The workout is at 2. Then we have sharing stories of difficult situations that were overcome in our life. So again, I'm asking you now to maybe take note, if you haven't already, because you've seen the agenda, to pick a couple of situations that were really, really hard and challenging for you in your life. Could be from childhood, anywhere. We've all had them, you know, just pick a really severe one. And how you overcame. And then, wait. Oh no, I'm skipping that. It's really Sunday's agenda. What's tomorrow? Oh my God, I'm so bad. 3 o'clock. Singing exercises are tomorrow. Yeah, and singing exercises as part of, say again? You muted, Linda.
Sorry, tomorrow starts at 2 p.m. Is that what you changed to?
Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow we have the off-screen assignment. No, we have tomorrow starting at 3 p.m. That's right. It's Sunday that starts a little earlier because it's Sunday and everybody needs to get.
Oh, do I have an old agenda? Because mine says Saturday 12 p.m.
Yeah,
maybe I
12 is the assignment.
Yes. Oh, but on screen 3. Thank you.
Yes. On
I missed
screen
that.
at 3. So my bad, love, been talking for half an hour because I was on the wrong day. My bad.
And then
So, yeah,
Sunday on screen at 2 p.m.
yes. On
Thank you.
Sunday on screen at 2 p.m. and
Thank you.
let's skip the workout at noon, but do it at 2. Yeah. And then we have the stories tomorrow. Yeah. So tomorrow is singing exercise and discussion of the 10 most important things for your year. And then we have dinner and the other movie and discussion of the movie. And one more time breathing and a deep relaxation session. Actually, I want to do the deep relaxation before the discussion of the movie because I want a little bit of time between the movie and the discussion. Often, you know, we need to let things settle for a moment so that they're not too fresh. Okay, are you ready for breathing? And I mean, you can close your eyes. I'm talking us through. Let me explain what the system is, if we haven't done it. We do very deep breathing, kind of on 1, 2, 3 on belly, chest, head. Wim always says that, you know, you breathe into your belly, into your chest, but also into your brain, so also into your head. And that's kind of put your consciousness with it when you inhale into belly, chest, head, out, out, out. Belly, chest, head, out, out, out. And not too slowly, because we want to oxidize the body as much as possible. So we want to put a lot of oxygen into the body. Then let's do 24 because my brain works on 8 counts. 24 of those. And then on the exhale, so on the 24th deep breath, we exhale and we stop breathing. Try to not sink into your body, which we might want to do like everything out. That's not the point. Just gently stop on the exhale. Exhale out and stop. And try to relax your face. And I'll talk you through, but I want you to have an image of what happens. And enjoy the silence that emerges in your body from not breathing. And we hold that. I might count, but I might not count the minutes. We typically hold naturally for about a minute. Some people longer, some people a little shorter. And then we take just one big breath in without talking or anything and hold that inhale again for another however long feels comfortable. Some people seem to not hold as long on that inhale as on the exhale, but to your own liking, and then exhale and come back to a normal breathing. You will notice that it's still deeper than you're used to, but the other important thing is to remain relaxed and never to go like, hold it up, that, none of that. So this is all very relaxed and in an upright position or lying down. So if you, since we're sitting, make sure that your body is not sunk together, but that your shoulders are back and there's enough room for the breath to go everywhere. What we're looking for is, and it often happens already when we get to 10, 15 deep breaths or later, a kind of a tingling sensation, especially in our extremities, but also throughout the body. And we continue the deep breathing and enjoy that sensation of, yeah, it's really oxidation. It's oxidizing everything in our body. And people have all kinds of experiences, if you will, some people say, oh, it was like being high, on the exhale, hold. So allow for all of that, allow for the smile to come onto your face, etc. And don't talk. Some people feel the need. I've done the exercises with a couple of my clients who felt like saying, okay, I'm already enough, or don't. Just do I'll talk you through. Just do the things until we're all the way at the second hold, and then exhale. Linda, are you ready? Can't hear you. So, what?
Yes, I'm ready. I apologize. I'm
No, I
ready.
just wanted to make sure that you didn't need to go somewhere, and
No, I think I'm all set. I'm good to start.
good. So take a deep breath in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3, and belly, chest, brain, and out, 2, 3, and belly, chest, brain, out, 2, 3, and 4, in and out, and 5, and out, and 6, and out, and 7, and out, and 8. Michael, that's not a good idea. You need to have fresh air coming in, not your own exhale coming in. Just keep your nose and your mouth free.
It's dusty in my place.
Still, you want to get as much oxygen in there as possible. I'm sorry to interrupt everybody, but
Oh, okay.
when you have something in front of your mouth, you're going to re-inhale your exhale, and that is never a good idea. It's like eating your poop.
No, it has an air thing in it.
I know, but like
All
I
right.
said, you still are going to re-inhale all that stuff that gathers on the inside.
Okay.
You got to do it when you're on a dusty site, but your apartment is not that dusty.
No.
All right, so I
Okay.
apologize, everybody. But I just saw that, and that's not the idea. Let's start again. And in and out, 2, 3, and in and out, 2, 3. You can have your hands on your belly, and out, 2, 3, and in and out. Try to go through your nose and out, although it doesn't matter. And in and out, and in and out, and 9 and out, and 10 and out, 11 and out, and 12 and out, and out, and and out. 15. Out. 16. Out. 17. Out. 18. Out. 19. Out. 20. Out. 21. Out. 22. Out. 23. Out. Now a really deep one, and all the way in and all the way out. And stop. Enjoy the quiet. Relax your face. Relax your arms, your hands. Enjoy the quiet. Imagine that the center of your brain is using this quiet time to go fix things in your body. That's what science has shown. Keep it calm. Keep it going. And after a whole while, you might feel that you hear your heartbeat in your eardrums, like on the inside. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Really fill your chest and your belly and everything with air, and stop. Then hold it. And again, relax all your muscle tissue, but hold it. You're just holding your air. You're not holding any other muscles. And it gets even more quiet in your brain. And when you're ready, let it out. And breathe normally and relaxed. And we're going to do it again. And Michael had a hard time just staying in the quiet. When you, sometimes we feel like we need to swallow, and that's okay, but don't allow the breathing to start just because you swallowed. So this time I'm going to actually clock the holds so that we have a little bit of a better impression. And I'm just going to say the number of the breath without saying in, 2, 3, and all of that, because I think you now know how it works, right?
First your belly, then your chest, and then your head.
But all in the same breath. So it's in, chest, belly, chest, head, out.
When you
Belly,
breathe
chest,
in,
head, out.
should your belly extend out or extend in?
Out. When you breathe in, your belly extends because you're filling your whole, you're pushing your lungs down so much that it pushes out your belly because you're filling your lungs with air.
And your chest too, so it's expanded.
Well, I mean, it just does that naturally. Look here. When you go here, and when I take a breath in now, You even feel it here in the sides. When you take a
Yes.
deep breath, you automatically expand everything because it's got to go somewhere. And it doesn't go anywhere else other than in your lungs, but your lungs expand and push everything else to the sides and out.
How do you feel it in your head though?
That's the imaginary part. But
Ah.
the fact is that the oxygen that we inhale with deep breaths, of course, also goes to our head. The deeper the breath is, the more of it goes to the head.
Right. More oxygen.
So you can't actively expand your brain, obviously. So brain, oh
Now your eyeballs come out.
no. So that's just the imaginary part. But you can feel your belly and your chest expand. And then you feel like, oh, it's going up there. But that's, like I said, that's the imaginary part. Okay, I'm gonna have to put some light on here so you can see me as the sun is setting. Okay, Linda and Christine, are you ready to do it one more time?
Yes, certainly.
Great.
Yeah,
And then we
Yeah,
can
I'm
talk
ready.
about. Say,
I'm ready.
okay, good. Okay, now I'm just saying the numbers, okay? And 1 out. 2 out. 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 23 2 23 and the extra big one 24 and all the way out and stop. Half a minute. One minute. Take a deep breath in when you're ready. When you're ready, take the deep breath in and hold it, and enjoy the super quiet. Half a minute. One minute. Unmute yourselves when you're ready. Okay, Linda is back. Christine is back. Okay. So I'm a little bit envious because when I'm talking, of course, I can't fully do it, right? So when I do it by myself, I just quietly do this so that I keep track of the breaths because I lose track, right? I don't keep track of the minute for the holding, so I'm sure sometimes I go a lot longer and otherwise shorter. What happened for you? What did you feel?
Well, I felt enhanced digestion.
Yes, isn't that interesting? You hear suddenly all the gurgling in your stomach. Very often, yes. What else?
And I like stopping to do it. Stopping everything to do it.
You mean stopping the breath?
No, stopping everything else that I was doing to do that.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, yeah. There is a version that Wim does whereby you on the hold do push-ups. And that can be very rewarding too, because it kind of feels like it enhances your ability, your power. But
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to see if I can put a light on here. No, we got the bleach out again. I can't win, so I'm going to leave it like this. Yeah, how about you, Mike?
I just have one question. When you, after the 24 and you breathe out and then you hold as long as you can, then you let go and breathe in right away.
Yes, you don't, I mean, hold sort of assumes that you're holding some air in. That's why he calls the exhale, you stop breathing. You just feel like, okay, I'm stopping to breathe. That means you just don't take another breath in after exhaling. So it's like,
And then you
stop.
exhale, then you take a deep inhale.
After the 1 minute hold on the
Or
exhale.
then you breathe normal after a while.
Wait, no, okay, there's 3 steps. It's breathe in and out 24 times.
Yeah.
Step 2 is on 24, you exhale and stop breathing. So you have no air or not much air in your chest while you're stopping, while you're holding. You can call it holding, but the next, and you hold it for a minute. So after that minute of quietness of not breathing, exhaled, you have to have a deep inhale and you
Oh,
stop
right
it
after
again.
that. Oh, right after that, you do a deep inhale
Yes,
and stop again for a minute.
but this time you're holding all the air you can in your chest.
Right, of course, you're inhaling.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I had a similar experience
Mhm.
when I was in bed one night and the
Mhm.
air it was cold and very fresh. So I felt like breathing all this fresh air in. It was a cold night. And I kept breathing in and out real deep and heavy. And then when I tried to stop, I couldn't stop. I had to keep doing deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And I almost couldn't stop going back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and then I felt kind of similar to this, a little dizzy.
It makes you a little dizzy. Okay, any other sensations?
Well, I tensed up after I tried to hold it as long as I could, I tensed up.
Yeah, that's not good. It's always, you can stop your breath without tensing any other part of your body. And that's kind of the important part of the exercise. So when you're exhaled,
Because I felt I could hold my breath longer if I tensed up.
yeah, but same with the inhale. I sometimes do that. I sometimes like make sure that everything else is relaxed while keeping the hold. So you can hold your breath, you can isolate that hold without having any other tensions. And it's not, see, this exercise is not a competition. It's not.
That's what I was, yeah. It's not to see how long you can hold it.
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to do.
Well, it's nice to get into that space of relaxing and at the same time holding until it feels like, okay, now I should take another breath or exhale, after the inhaled breath. So there should not be, that's why I made such a big introduction. There should not be any tension moment in this whole exercise.
With practice, will you be able to hold your breath longer and longer?
Yeah, but it's not really the point. I mean, Wim Hof has done that because he needed to prove to the scientists who have studied him inside and out, that he can, and that things are awakened in the center of your brain, in what is called the reptilian brain, which is back here. And then that starts lighting up because it's also the survival brain, and it starts fixing the body where it needs to fix. That's why with this simple breathing and cold water, he has helped people heal from diseases. Mind you, he's also a plant eater, so that of course helps. But yes, it is amazing how the body begins to fix itself when that part in the brain up there is awakened. But it won't awaken if you are like, holding like that. It only
Okay.
does that in the quiet.
Okay.
And because you kind of, it's a sense of surrender.
Yeah.
Surrender
Yeah.
to your brain's ability to do the right thing. That's why it's so helpful for going to sleep. I mean, I often fall asleep while still halfway in the exercise, but that's kind of okay. All right. Christine, what's your experience? Oh, you already said that it was great to stop everything to focus, right? Any sensations, any physical sensations during the exercise?
I think it's the other lady's turn. Oh.
Yes, it's Linda's turn.
Yeah, I got tingly. I just felt that and
Yes.
lightheaded.
Mm-hmm. Lightheaded, exactly. That's also a word. It's like, ooh. Some people have seen all kinds of dream creatures and things. But, sometimes we get ideas, or we get we get to a point of everything's okay. And that's the beauty also of these exercises, that they bring us back to a state of, I'm alive, it's okay, whatever happens kind of thing. So I wanted you to have that experience, and when we're doing it again tomorrow, you already know how it works. So I encourage you to try it again tonight in bed, just lying and doing the counting like this, because it's very hard to keep track otherwise, because we get so into the deep breathing that we have no idea where we're at. Even though I have this brain that automatically counts in eights from dance exercises. All right, guys, it's dinner time. Go watch Cowspiracy. It will be a weird experience after this blissful little breathing experience. I will also watch it again.
What time
And-
do we reconvene? Because I know
Take
we're a little
notes.
early.
So if we want to pull that up a little bit, we can reconvene. I mean, if you all have the link, right? So you can get straight in. It's a 1.5 hour movie. But you also, I don't know whether you can take your screens to where you get dinner. You also have to eat
Is
your
it YouTube or is it, where is it located?
YouTube.
Cowspiracy.
the movie
Okay.
on
Mhm.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
And the link is in the chat. If you can scroll up in the chat, it's the first chat in this chat.
Do
But
I get chat? Do
on
I get a
on the
chat when
phone,
I'm on the
I don't
phone?
know whether you can get the chat on the phone.
No.
Yeah, I don't know either. No, I can find it.
Yes, it's easy to find.
If you send me the agenda, I'll be able to go in there.
Oh, that's right. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay,
That
everybody.
would be nice.
Mwah.
Okay.
See you
Well-
at 7.
We log back in,
Yeah.
right? Will Lexi
Oh,
come
I'm
back in?
tonight?
going out
Sounds good.
and we log
Oh,
back
we're
into the
doing a
same
thing
same
tonight?
link.
We're doing something again tonight?
Yeah, we're discussing the movie and calling it a night. Whatever.
7-6-5-4. Okay.
So
Let me
we
check
can
and
see this
when my
movie on you.
chiroprac-
You said we can see this on YouTube?
Yes, and you can just go into your email and see it on your agenda, but I'm also going to shoot another email out to you, including Christine, so that you can all have the link again. It's on the
Okay.
agenda,
Okay,
but I'm going to send it out.
Send me the agenda. And then I'll be traveling and I'll be going to my chiropractic appointment, but I'll be able to get in there somewhere. Mhm.
Yeah, while you're traveling, I mean, of course, there's always the trailers, but they really don't tell the story. What I wanted to is that we contextualize our own lives.
No, I mean in when we reconvene. That's what I'm talking about. I gotta
Okay.
finish my homework from yesterday. I got lots of stuff to do, but I'll be in my car when we get together again. If we
Cool.
get together at 7.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. All right.
see what
Talk
you
to you
can
later.
get. Great to have you.
Okay.
Ciao.
Uh-huh. Bye.